Figma just dropped tons of updates at Config 2025, and many of these updates are seriously game-changing. From a lot of cool updates within the Figma Design tool itself, such as the new changes within the auto layout or new draw mode within the Figma Design tool, to a lot of new cool tools such as the Figma Make or Figma Buzz or Figma Site, which we're gonna cover it in this video. This video is about everything that you need to know about the Config 2025. So bear with me until the end of this video. My name is Kia, here is Kimo. Welcome back to my channel. We're gonna go through the list of updates that Figma has been released in Config 2025 together within this video, but I believe that we need to start this video with one point which I would like to share with you if you are a designer who is not using the Figma, or if you are at the beginning of your career and you are not sure about the tools that you would like to learn and add to your toolkit. And that point is that it is the best time to start learning the Figma or switch to the Figma from the other design tool. And I have two reasons that why I'm saying this. The first reason is that the tools that Figma is releasing or working on are getting more complex the day in and the day out, meaning that they are releasing a lot of new cool features that they are fun to work with, but of course they are adding to the complexity of the Figma tool. Therefore, if you would like to work with the Figma and all the tools that Figma is building within their ecosystem, best time to make yourself familiar with everything in this ecosystem. Therefore, you can utilize all these tools in the best possible way. The second reason is that Figma proved that they know what designers want. They really take care of their community and they are building future-proof product, which means that you can use their product for a long time. Therefore, there's a guarantee that they are not going to give up on their community and you can really rely on them. So these were the two reasons that I believe is the best time that you start to learn Figma or work with the Figma in your organization, in your company, or if you're a freelancer for yourself. The first updates that I would like to cover are the updates that we have within the Figma Design tool itself. There are different updates that comes to the Figma, which we gonna check a couple of them that are available at the moment with my working environment. I'm gonna start with the Figma Draw mode, which is one of the very game-changing tool, which is going to make your Figma biggest competitor to Adobe Illustrator or equal softwares. If you look at your menu toolbar here, you can see that now there are three options that we have down here. We had the dev mode and the design mode in past. They are not something new, but now we have this draw mode, which if you click on that, so you can see that the menu arrangement is changing to a menu that collects the tools that are more important for visual design and illustration design. And that's the main purpose of this mode. When you switch to this mode, you can use all the Figma as a visual editor or design tool such as Illustrator. So for example, let's make one shape here. One change that you immediately can see is that now in the left side we have a thumbnail of the layers, which is showing that what exactly we have in our design file or in that layer. For example, if I change the shape and the color here, you can see now here in the thumbnail we have exactly the same element. We can see the preview. This will help us to manage our file a little bit better in terms of designing a complex illustration with a lot of layers. Plus, here in the toolkit, we have a bunch of new tools, which we had the paint and the bend tool before. I'm not sure what is. Okay, the lasso is the new tool and the move tool we had before. And the shape builder is also one new tool. So now imagine that we have this shape with overlap between them. And if I pick up the shape builder, you can see that when I'm hovering on different part of this shape, it gives me the option to freely combine, for example, the shapes. Or if I hold the Alt, I can, for example, remove the part that I want and combine and everything else, which is giving us this possibility to build a complex shapes and illustrations. The other stuff that we have here, which are very visible, are these three. The first one is a simple pen that we had before, of course. It gets more accurate, I have to say. It gives you better feeling, actually. And then we have the brush, which is also one cool feature. You can also select different brush here based on your need, and then start to build a brush effect, a vector. That means if we switch to the Figma, we will have a stroke or a line with the brush effect on it, which will bring us to the next point. Later I will talk about. There are so many other cool features within the Figma Draw mode, which maybe we can also try a couple of other features. The other one that I really like the most is about this repeat functionality. So now you can select one element and then add a radial repeat, which give you also some options to, for example, decide on the count of repeating this object that you selected, or you can also increase the radius or the gap between these elements. This is very nice. The thing is also you can switch between the radial to linear, and as you can see, you can apply multiple repeat things on one option, and then you can confirm it and then transform them to shapes, which they said it is very, very optimized for the hardware. Therefore, there won't be a huge workload on your hardware and your system. And the next feature that I like it a lot is that the possibility that we can type over the path, meaning that we can have a typography that is following a specific path, curve, or something like that. For example, let me make one curve using a pen tool. I'm going to make a really random one. We don't care much at the moment. But when we have the path, we can select this path and we pick up the text tool, and then we can click on this path or this curve line that we have. Now we can type something. Hello everybody. Okay, the text is a little bit small. I'm gonna select it and resize the text, and you can see that how cool this text is following the curve, and I like this actually a lot. You can also select this, take this handle and move your text over the path that you have, which is also very, very cool. And when you get back to the design or design mode, you still have this and the feature of changing the position of the text over the path. These are all available within the Figma, both in the Figma mode and Figma Draw mode and Figma Design mode, which is very cool. So these were a couple of main feature and updates that you can find it within the Figma Draw mode, which in combination of the Figma Design tool for the user interface designer, is going to be a huge game-changing features and updates, because you can use all these features in order to build more complex user interfaces that wasn't possible before this. Can also get more artistic. You can get more creative and build more artistic visuals. Also, you can work on your illustration, icon design, I don't know, logo design, and everything else. So now you can do everything within the Figma. You don't have to really jump to the Adobe Illustrator or any other tool. Now I would like to focus a little bit more on the user interface design, and there were a couple of new features that has been released within the Figma design itself, which is going to change also how we design user interfaces. And that feature, or the biggest one, was introducing grid layout within the Figma. So we had the auto layout before. We used to use the auto layout to build complex layout, and I'm a fan of layout in general. Now we have a grid which take this topic to the next step. So imagine if you have a frame here in the auto layout section, which you already see the changes here. So the user interface is slightly changed. We have a bunch of options to decide how our layout should be. The first one is the freeform, which is equal to not having any auto layout, or basically having absolute position for everything within your frame. Then we have this vertical stack or vertical layout, which we had this before as well. And we have the horizontal one. In the horizontal one, you can find this option in the right side, which was wrapping the element or the child layers within this parent layer. And if we horizontally resize the parent layer, the child layers are going to stack either horizontally or vertically based on the space that is available within the parent layer. But now here we have this option, grid, which you can see it's already on a beta. And when you click on that, you can see now we have a grid within the frame that we build. Now, if I make one design element here, for example, let's make it red, we can drag this and drop it in on any cell of this grid to add it to our layout. So you see that based on the size of the element that I had, it automatically decided to snap my element within two basically row and one column of my layout or my grid, which I can select the elements, for example here the rectangle, and decide different size for it and snap it to the size that I would like to have. First of all, this gives us possibility to create more responsive design because the cells of the grids are responsive. They're changing based on the size of the parent layer. The second thing is that, as you can see, when I'm hovering on the grid in different cell, there is this auto indicator which shows that it's automatically resizing the size of the cell width or height based on the changes in the parent layer, which you can also change it to anything you want. For example, when I click this one, now I can say, hey, I would like to change the width of this layer or this cell within my grid. And from that moment, it has fixed behavior, fixed width, which is very also helpful sometimes for creating different elements. Now I can copy this in different grid that we have, in different cells that we have. I can change the color. Imagine these are the different content that we would like to have later on in our grid. So let's turn this again to auto. And one more cool option is when you go to grid mode, here in the auto layout, you still have the features that we had normally in the auto layout, like the gap between design between the cells horizontally and vertically, which is amazing. We have also padding top and padding bottom and padding left and padding right that we can decide for this grid. And more important than anything is that we can inherit the same normal layers, normal auto layout features like horizontal or vertical layout within the grid and other way around. Meaning that, for example, if I select this element or this layer, rectangle 2, and I use the combination key Shift A to make an auto layout, you can see that I build a layer, frame 2, which has the child layer rectangle 2, and I applied the auto layout on it, which is like this. So this means that we can use the auto layout to build more complex design within the grid. So for example, here you can see that I build a stack of these 3 rectangles within one auto layout frame, and it is all within the a grid. Another way around, actually, I can also change this to a grid, and you can see now I have it as a grid. We can change the size or something like that. We can play around and build more complex layout. This is a real game changer, I have to say. We had a possibility to create this stack either horizontally or vertically, which was fine actually, but now this will give us the power to build more complex design, I have to say. Let's switch to dev mode and see what's happening in dev mode. Okay, we can see that it also provides the proper CSS properties and attributes. The display mode is now on the grid, and there is the rest of the properties, CSS properties, that important for developers to transform this to the code. The next thing that I would like to show you is the new effects that exist within the Figma now, so we can apply it on a different element that we have. For example, when you want to add a fill effect, you can see that now we have this option within the design panel, which is the pattern. And if you click on that, you can add pattern to your elements. And the pattern works like this, that you need to make one object. I don't know, you can decide different layers or different elements. Let me maybe pick up one polygon, and then we increase the corner radius. And when I select this one and again go to the fill panel, here when I click on the select source, I need to select the element that I would like to use as a pattern, and that this element is going to be shown as a pattern in the background of that shape. And then we can change the size, we can change the spacing between this element, we can also change the order. For example, now it's more random, and then also the alignment can be decided here. We can change the spacing, and the cool thing is that this pattern is still connected to the element that we built. If we start to rotate this one, you can see that the pattern is also rotating, which is amazing. And in the continue of these features, I would like to show you a couple of new effects that we have access to, which one of them is the texture. When you select, you can see that how the element that we had here get this noisy effect, that you can also change the properties here and change the stuff and make the design that you like to have. And the next effect is the noise, which again is cool new thing that we can also have different properties for this to play around with, monocolor or dual color or multicolor, that you can see also impact on it and build the noise effect. And last but not least is about the stroke effect that you can have if you add your stroke. For example, let me make a red stroke and a bit thicker. And if you open this setting here, you can decide a different type of stroke for your design within the Figma Design, and you don't have to switch to the Figma Draw mode, which you can also do that as well. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can go there and then decide on some stuff and bring back your design into your Figma Design and using your user interface or any other purpose that you have. This is also very handy and very cool. That was the most important features and updates within the Figma, which I believe that you need to get used to them and use them actually within your working process when you are designing stuff. For example, this repeat functionality was very nice, or I'm not sure, the grid was amazing thing actually. That's gonna power up the way that we are building the layout, how we are building a responsive design. And other stuff such as a pattern also is very handy. Before that, we used to make a lot of a copy of the same object to build the pattern, but now we have the functionality which will help us to make this process much easier. Now it's time to talk about the new tools that Figma released in Config 2025 that were the most impressive part of the show actually, which is showing that Figma does not want to stay just one design tool, but want to provide everything, every tool that a team need in order to achieve the task. And I like this the most about the Figma team, because they're really listening to the community and they build the design tools in the right time based on the feedback they are gathering from the way that the users are using the Figma. And that's why Figma released three other cool tools. The first one was Figma Make, the second is Figma Buzz, and the most important one is the Figma Site, which I'm going to show you right now. If you look at my Figma working environment, you immediately will realize that there are a couple of changes. The user interface changed a little bit, and this is all because they are providing or preparing this user interface for the new tools, which I'm going to show you. The first change is here, that the templates and tools are here right now. This is the same community tab, which now is much easier to switch between community and your working environment, which was a painful process for me personally back in the day. But when you land in your community section, you immediately realize that, hey, we have this website templates, which are cool. And when you click on this and open this overlay, you see that this thing or this template is not for Figma Design, it's not for any other tools, it's for Figma Sites. And that's first the clue that, okay, we have now Figma site within our. The next thing that you most probably need to try is to click on the create to create a new file. And here you can see that we have two new tools, the Figma Buzz and Figma Site. Yeah, we had the Figma Design, Figma Jam, and slides before. There's a slight difference or changes in the icons, which I like it very much. But let's start to click on the Figma Site and see what's happening there, which I assume based on the name, you should be able to guess actually what's going to happen in a Figma Site. Figma Site is a similar thing to Framer actually. So in past we had to copy our design from the Figma when we were ready with our design, and then we paste our design within the Framer using plugins and everything else to transform the Figma noodles and everything to HTML and CSS. Everything is going to happen within the Figma ecosystem, so we can use a Figma site to build our website. I'm not going to make anything at the moment. I'm not going to build a website. I just want to show you this tool, but it's very easy to copy your design and paste it here in this canvas. So in the left side, you can create pages for your website, different pages. The user interface is very similar to something like a Framer and Webflow at the same time. And in the canvas itself, you can see the breaking points, which you can also create different breaking points based on your need. You can make it. The thing is, everything is connected to your design, so you can really get access to the libraries and everything like you do in Figma. That's a very cool thing. But yeah, so you can make a web pages, and if you would like to start here within the Figma side, you can click on this plus, and like a Framer, you have a library of default stuff that you can, I don't know how to, okay, yeah, you can add it to your design by just clicking on it, as you can see. And then you can, for example, add the navigation. I'm not sure if it's, oh yeah, you can do also drag and drop. And when you do this, you can see that it automatically have this responsive behavior. So everything is fine and works well. And the rest of the stuff that you can add. Let me check also the libraries. Oh, that's cool. Also, you can add the library of your website that you have built in the Figma directly here, and then import the stuff easily into the Figma site. The other cool feature that we do not have yet is Figma Make and CMS functionality, which will help us to build the content, to have a content management system within our website to dynamically fetch the information within our design and page. So that was pretty much it. Go give a try and bring your design here. But the main thing here in the Figma site is that what you see here is not just like Figma, like different infrastructure for showing the visuals, but it is HTML and CSS, meaning that if you click on the preview, what you see is a website. And you can see also it has some animation and everything, which I'm going to show you now in a few minutes. But you can see this here is a website. You can upload it, publish it, and then it's in the internet. Everything is done. So here we have this publish button. If you click on that, you can set up your website. Let's say test. Oops, test. And then it is now the default URL, but you can also set the custom URL later on. And now let's click on the publish. Like we had the same stuff within the Framer and Webflow, the same mechanism. And now when I click on this one, we will have a real website within our browser. And you can see that this is not just something not real, but it's a real HTML and CSS classes that you can see has been assigned here. It is game changing. So now designers are able to design and publish their website using Figma, and they don't have to leave the Figma ecosystem. The other thing that I saw in the Config 2025, which was very cool, is the interaction library or the interaction preset, which when you click, it already has the scrolling effect here, but when you click on this one, you can make different interaction. For example, scroll parallax, scroll transform, a custom cursor, Let's maybe click on the custom cursor. Okay, yeah, we need to decide which layer is the custom cursor that we want to have. But yeah, also we have display, which, for example, we can make the stuff draggable. Let me, for example, click on this one and then add an interaction and make this draggable. Yeah, you can set up the different stuff here. But yeah, let's give it a try. I try it one more time. Draggable functionality. Yeah, okay, maybe. Okay, now it's working. So you can see that you can even make something draggable this easily, and that's very fun actually. The next new tool is the Figma Buzz. Figma Buzz is some interface for people who are not really used to Figma itself, because Figma has a lot of features, a lot of complexity. But Figma Flex is mainly for the people from, I don't know, marketing department, from brand department, that they would like to just use the designs that you build in the Figma, but with the less headache and less complexity with all the features and complex user interface within the Figma. Therefore, Figma made this tool which you can build your design within the Figma. You can make different variants of the same object there, or same component, and then come here, make one Buzz file. You can see also, again, there are 10 places that you can import. Let's, for example, import this one. And then when you have here, you can see that there are no sign of any complex user interface. You have very easy job to do. You can just change the stuff that you want and build your design ready for your, I don't know, for any purpose, for a print or for anything. You can also copy this one and build second one. That's also possible. You can make multiple asset. And the most coolest thing is that what you can retrieve the information and data from CSV file or something. So instead of manually have to make the content or write the content within the template, you can just upload your CSV. When you upload the CSV, it's gonna detect all the column of the row, and then you can connect each column to each specific visual element with your design, and it's automatically gonna make, based on the data that you have in the CSV file, it's gonna make the design and assets, which is very cool. And there are also a lot of other cool stuff. You can still switch between the design mode and this mode in order to change the design if you want to change within this file. You can also import the templates and everything else from the library that exists, or from your own library, which I don't have anything right at the moment. That's also cool. And you can also build your own library of the image, or you can even use the Make Image AI feature of the Figma to build the assets that you want to use within your designs. So the last feature or a tool that has been released in Config 2025 was Figma Make, which unfortunately is not available for me based on the license and the account that I have. But you can also see the basically the functionality and how it works within the config keynote, which I really recommend you to do so. But if you want to talk about it briefly, Figma Make is an AI integrated within the Figma, which you can use in order to transform your ideas, your design, to code and to living product, which I guess all of us were waiting for it. And yeah, you can learn about it here in this link. Maybe I put it also in the description of the video. But yeah, you can see the main stuff. You have this chat based user interface on the left side that you can type what you want to do, and you can even give your design from your Figma design to the chat. Therefore, the AI is going to understand that what exactly you want to build directly from your design, and transform your design to the functional code, which will kind of save a lot of time from you. And the cool thing is that actually you can use this code or this developed version into your website or in the Figma site, and then publish it and everyone can use it. This is gonna be a huge game changer. And here actually there are a bunch of use cases that you can see and give a try. For example, let's click on this one. This one fully built with the Figma Make, and you can see that it's a functional map. They connected the map to the API, so It's real map and real stuff. But the cool thing is that this is just built or designed in the Figma Design file and built by Figma Make. And that was it for this video. I tried to show you everything that you need to know about the new Figma released in Config 2025 in a very, very quick way. I hope you enjoyed watching it and I hope you learned something new. Actually, I myself am very, very looking forward to get access to these features and integrate all these functionalities and features within my working process. Now, before you end the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done yet. And if you enjoyed the video, like this video and share it with the other designers in your community. And get sure to share your thoughts and opinion in the comment section of this video. I would like to know which feature or the tool of the Figma actually you love the most. Let's learn together and see you in the next video.